Good morning, everyone. This is Sharon. Welcome to my channel. Today I am coming to you with a flip through of this custom requested journal, and the request came from Leslie. She told me that she's been collecting antiques for over 40 years, so like me, she loves vintage. And she also asked me if I could incorporate birds and botanicals. So I tried to mingle all three of those concepts into this journal. What I used for the closure on the front is this beautiful piece of sari silk ribbon. And I also embellished it a little bit with some jewelry just to give it a little bling. It's, I would say, a quite feminine style journal. And the cover that I used for this journal is probably one of my all-time favorites. I'm not sure exactly why. I bought just the cover, and I think it's the fact that this probably was once a brighter red book, but it faded to this beautiful mottled kind of rosy corally pink color. And then the spine, I'm assuming, was also red, but that kind of faded to this beautiful golden brown color. And the two together, I just absolutely love. This is what the back looks like too, just a very soft, kind of a pinky red. I added a little bit of lace to the spine, and then going inside, what I decided to do for the inside covers was to use a couple of beautiful images from Ruby and Pearl. She's got a fairly new kit out called Flower Sellers. So I put this one on the front since there are a lot of botanicals in this journal, and then I used this one for the back side. For the spine, I used some antique French fabric in this stripe, kind of goes with the color theme. And then for the digitals that I mixed with my vintage papers, mostly came from Roxy Creations. The pages that I used, a lot of the main pages come from her Botanical Kit 4, and it's just a beautiful soft kit. So that's what I went with. On this first page, I added this piece of embossed velvet. And then I also incorporated some of these like embroidery pattern pages. Here I've got this page from a shorthand workbook, and then I attached onto there this tag. And then here I created a pocket and just added a little journaling card. I have included a number of book pages from these little, here's a botanical book. I've got some, I think, birds in here as well. In here, I've just got this little bookmark type thing and backed it with piano paper. Here, I added a piece of book spine just to embellish the page. These collage pages from Rachel are really pretty, so I just usually like to add just a little piece here and there to embellish. And then I've got this digital from a rose. I think these are Ruby and Pearl. And then on this page I did some stenciling with stencil paste. And this is an actual book page. It's a plate, a book that I have on Versailles. So it's got some really beautiful images in it. And then on the back of that, I created this pocket with some old fabric and paper and did some stitching on there. And then behind there, I did some stenciling with ink. And then in that pocket, I tucked this vintage French sea packet. A little bit of stamping I like to do at the tops of the pages. Here I added some old lace. And then in this pocket I created this journaling card. And I did add some embossed paper on the back and just highlighted that with some ink. Here I made a corner tuck with that image, and then in there I just tucked a couple pieces of paper. This is a digital I printed out, and then this is from Kate at Pixie K Designs, and it's one of her vintage invoices, and it's from New Zealand, which I love. I love incorporating things from different countries. And then in between the signatures, I added some of this treated napkin. It's got a little bit of coffee dye on it, so it gives it more of an amber look. And then here I added this wax seal with a ribbon. Here I created a side tuck on the inside of the page, and then in there I've got an antique French book page, and then this old ledger sheet. And that's also French. Here I just added some antique French fabric with a full button. On this page, I clipped this little journaling spot. This is an image of a doily. And then on the inside, I just added belly band on this side and a little pocket on this side. So those will be fun places to tuck things. This is a page from a guidebook of the English, well, actually the Lake District, I believe it is. Here I added this little flip as a writing space and added a little stenciling on there and some decorative stitching. And then in the center of the signature, I created 2 pockets from these pretty images and added some of this metallic paper on the bottom. And then in those pockets, I've got 2 journaling cards, or tags, I guess I would call these, since they have tabs on top. In the back, I backed it with this, it's a really like an onion skin paper, but it's green. And I just put that over book page. Here I created a belly band with a ruffled tissue paper from like a sewing pattern. And then in there, I added this tag. I've got a new kit in my shop. It's a label kit, and it's got a page of some old panel roll boxes, the ends of them that I have here, and I just scan those. I thought they would make nice labels. And then in this pocket, I've got some embossed paper at the top for the tuck. And then I've got this waxed piece of paper with this kind of motif on it. And then I created this full letter, and then on the back there is a place to write. I just love these. Now these, I believe, are from chapter 1 papers. I have to double check. I'll put all the links to the ones that I used down below, but they're really pretty embroidery images. On this page, I created a lacy pocket at the bottom, and in there I tucked this antique French letter from 1865. It's just got some beautiful writing on it. Oops, I guess I had it the right way. On this side of the page, I've got this little journaling spot that I made. And in here, I added some antique ledger paper that's blank. That would be a good place for writing. And on this side, I just added these fun little full cabinet cards. Did a little bit of stamping on the bottom. I put them on this blue cardstock that I coffee dyed, so it had some nice patterns on the back. And again, I used some of my piano roll labels. And this is backed with like an old antique encyclopedia page. I love the blues in this bird, and I just did a little cluster on the top with some fabric and lace and a button. Here I added this beautiful floral image, and it just kind of reminds me of a Polaroid, the size. Here I created a top tuck with this floral paper, and then in there I tucked this little booklet that I made. It's kind of like a sampler booklet, at least the image is. I added a little piece of linen on there with a stamp. And then on the inside I lined it with some old French book page. Got some masking paper in there, some other old book pages from an embroidery book. Just a fun place to do a little writing. And then in this pocket on the back cover, I just tucked this embossed frame. Here I took a page from an old cookbook that I have. And then in the center here, I've got this rather large tag with this chandelier image on it. Some coffee dyed paper on the back. On this side, I've got this tag that I made. And then this image with some writing space on the back. Here I added this image of this dapper young man. This is an original photo. And then on this side, I've got another little spot for writing, and then I've got a pocket on this side, and I tucked a antique calling card in there and another piece of paper. And then I've got some pages in here from a vintage bird book that I have. Here I created this corner pocket with this, I think it's like an old hanky, but it's got some beautiful embroidery on there and lace on the edge. And then in there I've got this tag. And I just added this little writing spot on the back, and then another piece of that antique ledger paper. Here I clipped on some old French book pages, and then on there I've got this piece of vintage fabric on there, which I think is really pretty. On this side of the page, I've got an Edith Holden book page, but what I did was add just these little tabs made from wool fabric. And then I also added on this one just some pressed lavender for my garden, just to add to the page a little bit. So it gives kind of a texture on there. On this page, I added a fabric ruffle on the top. In the center of this signature, I made two side tucks. These are actually embroidery pattern images. And then I love the background page of this. And then in each side, I created these journaling cards. I love these images as well. And I backed those with some embossed paper. And then I just added a little frame to this one. Here I created another fabric pocket, nice little small one, and I inserted this vintage photo of Madrid. And then I also have a cluster on the top of that page that I adhered with some slow stitching. Another beautiful Edith Holden book page. Here I took a vintage envelope and I made it into a corner tuck. And then in there I've got, this is a copy of a French postcard. I just backed it with some French paper. And then I've got a piece from a very long, narrow ledger book that I have. And I believe the entry started for the 1800s, but this piece does not have a date on it. Here on the top again, I did a little stenciling. I think that just adds a lot to a page. And then on this page, I added this piece of embossed velvet on the top. Little fabric tab. And then I embellished this pocket with a little bit of fabric and stitching as well. And in there, I've got this journaling card. Here I tucked an antique postcard, the Congress Hotel and Annex in Chicago. I got a number of these recently. I just love the colors in them. They've got my colors. And then this is a page from a book that I have on Italian architecture. And what I did was create a flip out on this side, lined it with some wallpaper on that back of that. And then in there I tucked this old piece of paper from 1823, and it's in English. I was going to say French, but this one's in English. And this is what the inside image looks like. And then on this side, I've got another flip out with that image, and then in there I tucked this card. Here I've clipped on a couple of items that I made. This journaling card, again, I love this floral image. And then on the back I just added a writing spot, but underneath it I've got this pretty paper you can look at. I always like to do both. I hate to cover up the pretty paper. And then here I created this little faux envelope. I've got some string to tie it up, and this is some old antique wallpaper that I used. And do I want to open this up? Yeah, I guess I will open it. We can look inside. I just added some trim on there. And then on the inside, I just inserted a page from an old botanical book, and then just a couple of other pieces that I made. And then I lined it with this encyclopedia page. And then on this pocket, I've got another tag or card in there. Did some stenciling on the back of that one. And then here I created a fabric flip with this beautiful sheer fabric, and then just trimmed it up with some lace on the top, and there's writing room underneath. And that takes us to the back side. So I hope you enjoyed that flip through today, and Leslie, I hope you enjoy this journal. I'm working on a couple others right now, so hopefully I'll be back soon with another flip through. And if anyone wants to see anything specific on maybe how-to or tutorial or short craft with me, just let me know. I know it's been a while since I've done one, so I'll probably do one of those in the near future as well. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye till next time.